Hey everybody, welcome back. In this video I'm going to show you how to play the guitar solo from the classic Dokken song In My Dreams. Now you probably noticed from my performance that this solo includes a pretty wide stretch in it, 12th fret to 20th fret, and that can be challenging for a lot of people. Now I've talked about doing wide stretches in some of my past videos, such as the guitar solo lesson for Van Halen's Ice Cream Man, and I'm going to give you the same tips and advice that I gave in that video on how to make that wide stretch a little bit easier. Alternatively, you can also accomplish the same thing by, instead of doing the wide stretch, doing a finger tap instead. I'm assuming George Lynch did the wide stretch instead because, well, it looks cooler. Almost as cool as George's hair circa 1985. So I'm going to show you both ways. I'm going to show you the wide stretch version and I'm going to show you the finger tap version, which makes it a little bit easier. Now, if you're a fan of George Lynch's playing, I do have several other lessons here on YouTube. I'll put links down below if you want to check those out. But first thing we're going to do here is I'm going to play the entire solo again for you slowly with the tabs on the screen. That way the more advanced players can get through this more quickly. Then after that, for everybody else, I'm going to break it down note by note. Let's go. Here's section 1 at normal and then slow speed. Let's break it up into two boxes, and in the first one we play. Pretty simple. What you're doing is you're playing the open E string and then letting it go down with the whammy bar about 2 steps. A lot of people miss this. It's at the very beginning of the solo. It's kind of buried in the mix, but it's there. Then after that, in the second box, we play. So at the beginning there, you'll notice there's a little string scratch on the D string. You're basically raking past it to get to the G string, okay? Then the G string, you're going to play 2nd fret, bend it up, hold it for a tiny bit, back down, okay? Okay. And then you slide up to the 5th fret, add vibrato. And then from there, what you're going to do is you're going to take that 5th fret note that you're adding vibrato to and then slide it up to the 7th fret, okay? And then as soon as you get up there to that 7th fret, you're very quickly tapping a harmonic at the 14th fret, okay? All right, play what we have so far in that second box. Then you're going to quickly move that finger to the 9th fret of the G string and do a tapped harmonic again at the 14th fret. Add vibrato, slide down. Now to get those tapped harmonics to ring out, it's going to help if you're using quite a bit of distortion or gain, like I am here. This is much more than I typically use. I use usually a more moderate amount of gain. This is a lot more than I normally do. So you're going to have string noise, and all that, but don't get hung up on that because once you add your effects and you mix it in with the rest of the instruments, it's not going to be as noticeable. All right, let's tie both of those boxes together and play this section one more time slowly and then at normal speed. All right, let's move on to section 2. Here's section 2 at normal and then slow speed. We're going to break it up into 2 boxes, and in the first one we play slowly. So you start by playing the 2nd fret of the D string, slide up to 9. And then this is all palm muted. You're going to play 12 on G, 9 on D twice. And then play that again, 12 on G, 9 on D twice. So far in that first box. And then 11 of G, pinch harmonic, wide vibrato, slide down. Let's play that first box again slowly a couple times. Then in the second box, we'll play slowly. So we start by playing the 7th fret of the D string, slide up to 10. And then 12 on G, pull off to 9, slide down to 8. And then 9 on D, palm muted. Let's play what we have so far in that second box, slowly. Again. And then we'll play 11 of G, pull off to 8, and then 9 on D, palm muted. And then a little string scratch on the G string, and then 9 on G, pinch harmonic, wide vibrato, slide down. Let's play that second box again a couple times, slowly. Now when I do that little string scratch, the second to the last note, a lot of times people will just play the 8th fret of the G string instead, like this. That's certainly fine, but when I slow down the original and listen to the isolated guitar tracks, it sounds more like a little string scratch instead, but either way you should be fine. All right, let's tie those two boxes together and play section 2 one more time, slowly and then at normal speed. All right, let's move on to section 3. Here's section 3 at normal and then slow speed. Let's break that up into 2 boxes, and in the first one we play slowly. So we start by playing 9 of D, slide to 14. Then we're going to play 14 of G, 14 of D. You'll notice that I tabbed it that 14 of D is palm muted. Okay. Then after that, we'll play 16 G, 14 D. Again, once you play that 14th fret of D, it's palm muted. Then 17 G, 14 D. Okay, so far. And then we're going to repeat part of what we just did. We're going to play 14 G, 14 D, 16 G, 14 D, 17 G, 14 D. All right, and then finally 16 of G, and then open D, palm muted. That last note may seem weird and out of place. A lot of times you'll see people play the 14 of D again instead of the open D, but again, when you listen to the isolated guitar tracks, you'll hear it was an open D. Okay, I don't think that was intentional by George. I think it was just, you're transitioning from one lick to another and open strings happen. It's very common. All right, let's play that first box again slowly a couple times. Then in the second box we play slowly. So you start by playing the 14th fret of the G string, slide up to 15, slide back down to 14, pull off to 12. Okay, 14, 15, 14, 12. Then 14D, 14G, 14D. And then you'll see that The second time I play the 14th of D, it's palm muted. And then 12G. And then we're going to play that movement again with the 14, 15, 14, 12. But it's a little bit quicker this time. Then 14G, 14D, add vibrato, slide down. Then you play the second fret of D, slide up. A lot of people miss that second fret of D, slide up, but it's in there. Let's play that second box again a couple times slowly. All right, let's tie both of those boxes together and play section 3 one more time, slowly and then at normal speed. All right, let's move on to section 4. All right, section 4 is going to be a quick and easy one. It's going to go like this. So what you're going to do is play 14 of G, bend up a full step, and then 12 of B, hammer to 13, then 14 of G again, bend up a full step, hold it for a little bit, bring it back down, and then you add wide vibrato and slide down. All right, that section should have been easy enough, so let's move on to section 5. All right, here's section 5. Okay, let's break that up into 3 boxes, and in the first one we play slowly, okay, so now we have that very wide stretch coming into play, and so bear with me, I'm going to show you the notes first, and then I'll give you the tips on how to play it more comfortably. So first you're going to play 12th fret of the high E string, hammer on to 15, you're going to hammer on with your middle finger, and then pull off to 12. And then you're going to play 19th fret, obviously with your pinky, pull off to 12, hammer to 15, pull off to 12. And you play that 6 times. All right, let's play that first box slowly again. Then in the second box, we play slowly. So what we're doing is we're hammering on to the 20th fret of the high E string. Okay, you're not picking that first note. You're continuing from all the hammer-ons and pull-offs you did in the first box. Okay, so hammer on to 20th of high E, pull off to 12, hammer to 15, pull off to 12. And you do that movement 8 times. Then you go back to that pattern of 19, 12, 15, 12 6 times. And then a lot of people miss this. It's very faint in the mix, but 19th of high E, slightly palm muted, and then 15 of B, slide down. Let's play that third box slowly one more time. All right, now before we tie all that together, let's talk about making the wide stretch more comfortable. I've discussed this before in prior videos, probably most notably in the Ice Cream Man solo where Eddie does kind of a wide stretch. So what you want to do, the ultimate goal, is the closer you can get the fretboard to your chest, the easier it is to do the stretch. Okay? Don't believe me? Try this. Play 12 of the high E string and hammer on to the 20th fret, standing up straight like you're playing guitar. It's kind of hard. Now, try bringing the guitar up toward your chest and doing the same thing. Much easier, okay? So, how do you get that guitar up there while you're playing? Well, there's so many ways you can do this. One of the things that Eddie used to do would be he'd kind of anchor it on his hip, like that, or he might even just sit down on the stage where he's able to get the guitar up closer to his chest. If you watch George Lynch in the original video, even though he's kind of faking it, he's doing the lean thing, kind of. Also, you'll notice when George plays it live, he'll go find like a riser or a monitor of some sort, and he'll put his foot up on it so he can get the guitar up closer to his chest. So those are a couple ways you can do it. And if you want to watch that video where I talk about the Ice Cream Man solo, I'll make sure and put a link down below where you can also check that out. All right, let's tie it all together now and play this section one more time, slowly and then at normal speed. Okay, now if the wide stretch is just too difficult for you, as I said at the beginning, you can also finger tap it, the same exact notes, and it's going to sound just fine. So what you would do is anytime you play the 19th or the 20th fret, replace it with a finger tap, okay? Like this, slowly. Again, most people, unless they're a guitar player and they know George Lynch, they're not going to know the difference. It's much easier to finger tap it. But again, if you want to look super cool like George, you're going to want to get the wide stretch down. All right, let's move on to the next section. Here's section 6 at normal and then slow speed. So in that first box, we're going to play slowly. So we're going to slide up to the 20th fret of the high E, and then play it 2 more times. And then 1917 on the high E, 19B. Then in the second box, we play slowly. That 21st fret, I know it sounds funny. Let me come back to that in a second. So you're going to play on the B string 20, 19, 17. And then on the G string 19, 17. And then 21st fret of B. Okay, so that 21st fret note on the B string, it's a G sharp, which it's a major third when you're playing an E, right? Which is kind of a weird note to include in this solo because everything else is E minor, E Aeolian, right? So to add the major third in there is kind of odd. But if you listen closely to the isolated guitar tracks, you'll hear George hit that note. And I do want to call out that George's playing in this section, it's very haphazard. It's like he's just picking really fast and letting the fingers fly, right? So he had it's kind of like the old falling down the stairs thing where you know where you're starting, you know where you're ending. And that's what I think George was doing. It's very improvisational, right? Very improvised feel. So don't get too hung up on that. And if you don't like the sound of that 21st fret note, you can always replace it with either, the 20th or the 22nd. And most people won't know the difference. Then in the third box, we play slowly. So it's 1917 on the B string, followed by 1917, 1916 on the G string. Okay, now before we learn the last 2 boxes, let's play what we have so far in the first 3 boxes slowly. Now, when I play that, for me, what feels the most comfortable is starting with an upstroke and then moving, throughout the rest of it, alternate picking. The reason I'm calling that out is because when I first learned this solo, and I had to figure out all the notes, right? And then I pieced it all together and started practicing. It felt awkward to me because I was starting with a downstroke. And I thought, okay, I'm going to try starting with an upstroke and see if the alternate picking feels more comfortably. And it certainly did. Okay, so I want to call that out. Anytime you're learning someone else's solo and you feel like it just feels awkward as you're doing ascending or descending alternate picking, try starting the picking in a different direction than you were doing before. Okay, so instead of starting with a downstroke, try starting with an upstroke and you may find it to be more comfortable. So in that fourth box, we play slowly. And what I do there is, I'm not alternate picking at that point. I'm kind of doing a sweep up. Okay, so it's an up movement. Now let's tie the first four boxes together slowly. So in that final box, we basically go totally optional. I mean, that's what you hear George do if you listen to the isolated guitar track. So it's just, again, it's one of those open string transitional things, but he's sliding down from the 19th of the high E, pulling off to the open E, and then open D and G. Again, totally optional, but it's there if you listen to the guitar track. Now we're going to tie all those boxes together and play section 6 one more time, slowly and then at normal speed. All right, let's move on to the final section, section 7. Here is section 7 at normal and then slow speed. Let's break it up into 3 boxes, and in the first one we play. Now this phrasing that we have here, it's very kind of classic rock, blues rock influenced, which obviously George had, being born in 1954 and starting to play guitar in the 60s. Obviously he's going to pick up on a lot of that stuff through the 60s and 70s. Anyway, so what you're doing here is you're going to bend up on the high E string before you pick the note, okay? You catch the B string on your way up. And then once you've got that high E string up about 1.5 steps, then you're going to hit both of the notes. Continue up a little bit and then back down. Just go with what feels right, okay? And then once you bring it back down, you're going to do another pre-bend up, a full step with both strings, and then add wide vibrato. Play that first box again. Then in the second box, we're going to play slowly. Now you'll notice that we start at the 12th fret of the B string, but I've tabbed it so that the note looks smaller than the other notes. That's because you're coming out of it really quickly, okay? If you want to skip that and just pull off from 15 to 12, you can. Because it's very faint in the mix, but you'll hear it if you listen to the isolated guitar tracks. And then 15 of high E, slow bend up 2 steps, so from here to here. Add wide vibrato at the top. All right, let's play that second box again. Then in the final box we play, so it's 15 on B, pull off to 12, and then 14 on G. And then 14 of G again, but this time you're going to add a pinch harmonic, bend half step, up, down, wide vibrato, slide down. Let's play that third box again, slowly. Now we'll tie all 3 boxes together and play section 7 one more time, slowly and then at normal speed. Alright, that was my lesson on how to play the guitar solo from In My Dreams from Dokken. Now if you found it helpful or informative, I would appreciate a thumbs up, and please hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already and you want to catch more content like this in the future. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and I will attempt to answer them as time allows. Until next time, rock on.